In this lesson right here, what we're going to do is take a look at the Edit Polygons rollout and the Edit Elements rollout. Very short lesson because we've already looked at these tools in reference to other sub-object types. Isn't that right, Zach?
That is right.
So let's go ahead and come in here and take a look at what we have available. I've already got a polygon on the screen, and I'm in Polygon sub-object mode. Here is the rollout that I'm talking about, Edit Polygons. It's come down here to Insert Vertex. What do you think it's going to do, Zach?
It's probably going to insert a vertex
onto... Oh, give it to me with excitement, baby.
Okay. It's going to insert a vertex onto the polygon. How's that?
That's a little better.
All right.
So, click, done. Is that good enough?
Very good.
All right, so we've now added a vertex onto the polygon. All right, so let's go ahead and undo. So it's the same thing as what you've seen with the other sub-object types when you've got insert vertex. I'm just not going to beat it up. All right, so now let's go down to one of the most exciting tools that you will use most often when modeling with polygons, and that is the extrude. It's simple. All you do is come in here and select a polygon like this. Come over here, grab extrude, and then click and drag.
Wow.
In fact, to be honest with you, the tool is so great you don't even have to select the polygon first. Click and drag.
Very, very cool.
All right, guess what model I'm modeling? Come on, any ideas?
I have no idea.
That's what I thought. Neither do I. So I'll come in here and I'll select the polygon on both sides, click, drag, and you can see how I can extrude out as well. I still have no idea what I'm building.
It's looking better, though.
Well, thank you. Maybe we should keep going, or maybe we should not. You know what? We can make this really interesting. While we're playing with some of these tools, let's simply come down here and turn on the Use NURM subdivisions, and let's up some iterations. There you go.
All right.
So now, how about that?
Very cool.
I still don't know what it is. It is now some sort of... I don't know, make something up. Quick.
Pipe conduit.
Yes, exactly, pipe conduit. First thing that comes to your mind. Why are you thinking about pipes right now anyways?
I don't know.
Okay, plumber boy. Let's go ahead and go back up to the top, and let's see what else we can get into. So that's extrude. Extrude is extremely important. Of course, you can do it interactively like this, or you can come over here for direct manipulation through the settings dialog, where I can come in here and do it a few different ways. As a matter of fact, before bringing this up, let's see. I'm going to pick on it by doing something that we did similar or earlier in this VTM. Let's go ahead and extrude interactively one more time right here. Maybe something like that, so I can come in here and grab all of these polygons right there. Now let's go ahead and do another extrude, but this time I'm going to open up the settings dialog because I want you to see group. The whole thing is going to work in a group when I extrude it right here, okay, like such. Or let's go over here to local normal. Let's go ahead and start increasing it. What this is doing is it's extruding out by their normals, but it's keeping the polygons together. And then finally, I can come down here to by polygon, and this is going to actually go in there and do them individually. So it's going to break them up for us.
Very nice.
Okay, very worth knowing.
And these extrusions could also be like moved, rotated, and scaled to get different shapes.
Well, yes, of course.
Yeah.
All right, so now, I mean, we can extrude, then we can go up and grab, rotate, scale, and do all that good stuff.
Right.
So now we're making our unique-looking device look even scarier than it was earlier. So, and by the way, when working in the settings dialog like this, you know the way it works, just I want to point this out again, is basically this right here is giving you a preview of what's going to happen the moment you hit apply or OK. If I hit cancel, it's going to cancel this operation out and it'll go back to the moment before I actually opened up the settings. Or I could simply hit apply, and then it's going to show me another proposed suggestion with the settings that I've got at the moment.
Very cool. Thank you.
So if I hit cancel, dink, that part will cancel out, so I'll go back to this. So that's working with extrude. Let's see, what else can we get into? Let's come down here to bevel real quick. Bevel is basically an extrusion and then scale. It's kind of two things in one. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I'll come up here and grab the top. Actually, let me try that again. Just grab the top here, and there we go. Grab the top, click to drag it up a little bit, and now when I let go, I can move my mouse up and down to control scaling of this thing uniformly.
Right.
So then I click again and I'm finished. So now I'll click and drag one more time. This time perhaps I want to go ahead and make it a little bit larger. Click and drag again. And maybe in just a little bit. And so now we have this interesting, complex piece of geometry.
Something.
Exactly.
Yes.
So anyway, all right, we better get serious here. All right, so anyways, you see how the bevel works? Again, we can go in here and we can work inside the settings dialog, of course, where we can do this, the same settings that you saw a few minutes ago, except we now have an outline amount and a height as well.
And just as a note, the scaling that we're actually doing with the bevel tool is just exactly like the outline, which we're going to be getting to here in just a second.
Exactly. So basically where the outline is giving us our uniform scale, if I go ahead and cancel out of this, we've got this polygon up top selected. If I grab outline, what that's going to do basically is scale all of my edges.
So if you want to think about it this way, a bevel is really just a combination between extruding and outlining.
Exactly. Okay, so now we've got, I always like to refer to it as extruding and scaling, because back in the old days, way back then, that's how you used to do it. You'd extrude, you'd grab scale, you then scale it up, you'd extrude, you grab scale, you get the point.
Well, for all of us who aren't old-fashioned, we're going to call it outline.
Yeah, whatever, so still scaling. So I'll go ahead and come back over here, and let's see, what do we want to do? Oh, how about inset? Can you explain that one for us there, Zach?
Oh, sure, I can. It's going to be like taking a bevel with no height whatsoever. You're just going to be creating a new face, which you can then scale.
How about just doing a zero-level extrusion?
Oh, see, look at you, trying to show me up.
No. That's just basically what it is.
Okay.
Again, back to the old days when we used to do an extrusion and basically scale it in, but the extrusion amount would go in there and we'd set it to like 0.001 or actually even 0, and then that would allow us to basically keep this flat right here. So that's what we've done right there, and now we can extrude off of that if we wanted to, and it's going to actually come out from that point right there.
Very nice.
Okay, so let's go ahead and come over here. Let's open up settings. Let's do one more, except this one, let's keep it a very, very, very low amount right here. Almost 0, just like, we could go with 0, but I want to bring it in just a little bit, tell it OK, and then come over here, grab extrude, and bring it out. And what I've done is I've created a much harder edge around this right here. Okay,
I see. Very cool.
Let me just hit F4. That'll make it real easy to see. Okay?
Awesome.
So that's a good technique to know. All right. Wow. That's just scary looking.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving right along, I think that pretty much covers these guys right here. You're going to be using these, like I said at the very beginning of this lesson, a lot when you're modeling.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So let's go ahead and jump out of that. Let's see, retriangulate. We'll talk about that quickly. You know how we can come down to edit triangulation. We can control which way our triangles run, etc. Well, when you get in there and you start doing a bunch of modeling, through a bunch of modeling operations, you may come up with some really weird geometry. Basically, coming down here to retriangulate will take your polygons, and it'll basically, Max will reset them or set the triangles to what Max considers to be the best triangulation for the geometry.
Very cool.
All right, flip. Let's see. Let's do something scary with flip. Let's grab all of our polygons and flip them. We have just flipped the normals on all of our polygons, and so we're now seeing the inside of this guy.
Oh, that's spooky looking.
Yeah, it is kind of spooky looking if you think about it. Mesmerizing. Okay, back to work. All right, so that's what flip does. Let's go ahead and come back in here, grab all, flip again. Just a convenient way of freaking people out. Check this out, Zach. I want to make that disappear.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Why aren't we seeing all the way through? Quick pop quiz.
Because the normals have been flipped, and when you're looking at the back face of a normal, you can't see it.
Exactly. But what about the other side?
We're also seeing the back face of a normal because we're seeing the inside of it right now.
Exactly, because the other side is pointing out, so
That's
we're
right.
seeing all the way through. Very good. All right, so let's go ahead and flip that back. Now let's move on to some other neat things. Hinge from edge. This is really cool stuff right here. This one I love. This is new with 3ds Max version 5. And let's see if I can pick on one of these guys over here. I'm going to go ahead and I like personally working with this from inside the settings dialog. Of course, you don't have to. You can do it interactively. But it's all about picking an edge that you're going to actually do the extrusion from, but it's a special type of extrusion. It basically pivots around that edge. Almost like making a wedge, if you will. So take a look at this. I'm going to say, first click on Pick Hinge. So I want to hinge from this edge right here. Okay, look at this. It's already starting to come out.
Oh, yeah.
I can control my angle. And then even more importantly is I can control the number of segments that's found inside it. So 1, 2, 3, maybe up my angle a little bit more. Up my segments a little bit more. So now I'm starting to make this little pipe-like looking thing right there.
Like an accordion look.
Yeah, exactly. And then I can continue extruding on from there.
Very cool.
Let's go ahead and say OK on this and come over to the other side. Grab this guy over here. And again, come back into the settings again. And basically same thing. Click, grab. I like it. Tell it OK. I'm just trying to keep this guy, looking symmetrical.
Right.
Spooky, spooky, spooky stuff. Okay, so see what else can we do?
Very powerful stuff, though.
Oh, absolutely, man. This is great stuff for modeling. I would really recommend spending a lot of time inside this rollout practicing.
Exactly.
All right, so let's go ahead now and take a look at the Extrude Along Spline, another new feature available in 3ds Max version 5, and very, very powerful. Let's see, where do we want to pick on this at? Let's go ahead and come up here. Let's just pick on this right here. I'm going to come back over here to create some splines. I'm going to create a line right here. We'll start right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's good enough.
I think that's enough.
Okay, so we've created a spline. I'm going to come back over here to my geometry. Well, let's go ahead and cancel out of my line tool. Back over here, Polygon subobject selection mode. Select. Come over here. I'm just getting it kind of close so our viewers can see what's going on.
Okay.
And now I'll just come back down here to the Edit Polygons rollout. Extrude from spline. Simply select and pick my spline. Da-na-na. And there you go.
That is very cool.
That's very cool. So this is a very powerful thing. Thought you'd like to know this one without a doubt.
Awesome.
Okay, so moving on from this. Actually, you know what? We're just about done.
Pretty much there.
Actually, I guess we could go ahead and come in here real quick and point out our. I didn't even think about doing this. Let's undo this just to make this a little bit easier to see. Come into Extrude Along Spline again. This time I'm going to open up my settings. We've got line 01 that it's using, and I can come in here and I can control the number of segments that I have if I want to add more detail. I can control a taper amount if I want it to taper, so we taper up or down.
Very nice.
Okay, yeah, these are very powerful now.
Yeah.
So now we have some sort of strange statue thing being made.
Tail.
And then we can curve this as well. Okay, so we can make this.
Gives you a lot of control over how your shape's going to turn out.
And then we can twist it also.
Wow.
So a lot of neat things we can do there. So let's just go ahead and say OK to accept that. All right, finally, edit triangulation. You guys have already seen this. I'm not going to go in there and hit on it again. Basically, I go in there and I can flip my triangles, basically the way that the geometry is being divided up. All right, so with that, let's go ahead and move on real quickly because this is going to be about a 2-second discussion over here to the element subobject level. And from here, edit elements. Okay, that's what we're looking at, the rollout. Insert.
We've seen all these tools before.
Yeah, that's why I'm going to make this real quick.
Okay.
Insert vertex. Put a vertex anywhere you want. Simple enough. Edit triangulation. Okay, we've already seen.
Three or four times now.
Yeah, we just talked about it 2 seconds ago. Retriangulate. We just talked about it in this lesson. Same thing. And flip. Again, we've already talked about it. I mean, if I want to come in here and quickly grab an entire element like this and simply flip it, now I'm looking at the inside. Same thing I got a minute ago when we was working inside a polygon subobject selection. I selected all of my polygons and did a flip.
Exact same thing. Very cool.
So that's going to wrap up this lesson right here.
All right.
Okay, and these are some extremely important tools. I would advise you guys to go in there. Those of you that are new with 3ds Max and modeling, spend a lot of time, especially inside Polygon subobject selection, and get comfortable working with this Edit Polygons rollout.
Yeah, I know when I'm modeling, I spend almost my entire time in there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great place. Now, what I'm going to do is we're going to have another lesson coming up here in a few minutes where I'm just going to model something quick and cheesy. It's just to give you a general idea of how to use some of the tools we've talked about into creating something a little bit more recognizable than this strange shape right here. Elephant head looking knob thing plumbing device with ducting over on the side. But anyways, after that, that's going to conclude this VTM right here. Look for the next VTM issue number 4 where we're going to start getting serious with some character modeling.
Awesome.
So that's it for this lesson. Thanks a lot.